something, oh, here we go. Cat is being sent, got it. Preparing. Virginia, you may want to bring up my page, Tarot by Ginger, on Facebook if you want to see the Facebook chats, maybe. If you have a phone and you can bring Facebook up, if you want, you don't have to. But if you want to see the chat room,
Oh, so what is it, my page? What is it, my
yeah, go to
page?
my page on Facebook. It's called Tarot by Ginger. And then if you just want to see what's happening, see what other people have while we're waiting to get information from people, you can just check it out from time to time if you want.
Are you seeing it live yet?
No, it's preparing live stream, it says.
Okay, good. I'm gonna be going on as you.
Okay. Tell them we'll be on in a minute.
I already did. Oh, all right, well, yeah.
Boy. And I have a gaming computer, so that means my computer is a lot faster than most computers and it can handle a lot of information at one time. So this is kind of interesting. Well, we look wonderful. I'm going to say that. We look wonderful.
We were trying to.
We look marvelous. Remember,
Yes.
it's not how you feel, it's how you look that matters.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Are we there?
Yeah.
Oh, you see us? Can you?
Melanie Roberts said, yay, I made it.
All right, good. So here we are. It still says preparing live stream here, but we're going to go with what you say.
I'm looking at you.
All right. Here's looking at you, kid. All right, everybody. Well, hold on. Let me do one thing. Let me do something right here. Okay. I don't want that. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Okay, there we go. It says we're live. There we go. All right. So hello, everybody. Who do we have here? We have two people so far. Who do we have here? We have Melanie so far. Who do we have here? Melanie and me, and Virginia. So am I too loud, Kathy? Can you hear me okay?
Good, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. We're gonna wait. Oh, there's another person. All right. Well, I'm gonna get started because we did start a few minutes late.
Okay. Just because I'm trying to put the input when.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tarot by Ginger. I'm so glad you're here tonight. And I have invited someone that I met in one of my channeling classes. And I noticed immediately that she had some experience and that she was a good psychic reader. And her name is Virginia Lee. And say hello, Virginia. And oh yeah, you're on mute. And so Virginia is starting, she lives in Maryland also, and she decided she wanted to start an online business of doing, offering readings and that. So I said, well, come on to my page and we'll do a little infomercial for you. And then we'll do some readings. So Virginia's website is Diva Dove, D-I-V. I think Kathy has it in the chat. Diva, yeah, Kathy's got it in the chat there. divadub.weebly.com. And can they send you an email message through that site or something if they wanted to contact you?
I believe that there should be an email contact form. There should be. If not, it's thedivadove@gmail.com.
Great. Okay. divadove@gmail.com.
The
All right.
The Diva Dove.
The Diva Dove. I like that a lot. Okay. So I want to know, Virginia, how did you get started in the psychic business? Were you
Well,
born? Um,
I must have been born, but I was probably doing other things growing up in life. I came to this very late in life, and not to tell on my age, but I'm on the good side of 25, post 25, and
Me
I'm also
too.
very bad at numbers. So um, this has come to me late in life than most mature think. Now, I always thought of myself as an observer of all things metaphysical and occult. You know, yes, they're aliens. Yes, they're ghosts. Yes, they're all these interesting things. But never in my wildest dreams did I think that I was a participant on the stage. So imagine my surprise when I have racing thoughts and I think let me take a meditation class so I can calm my mind. And I didn't realize, I thought it was just a straight meditation class. I didn't know it was a spiritual development class because all I saw was the word meditation. And again, this is what happens when you don't read the fine print. So in this class, when we met, I believe once a week, the idea was to calm ourselves, which is what I was there for, to calm the mind and try to learn how to use mind calming methods constructively. We ended up getting messages, and that was really the surprise. That I would say something about somebody and it seemed to resonate with them if it was about another person or about them and their personality or how they operated in life. So that kind of opened the door for me into all of this. And so I took a couple of more. I stayed with that class for about a year. And the few times that I
Was
put
that with,
myself out there.
was that with Reverend Jim? Was
Oh,
that with
no,
him?
this was a class in suburban Pikesville.
Oh,
There
okay.
were so many, I guess, schools and I think it was a meetup group, I believe.
Okay.
We were doing meetup groups and just trying to put their name out, and they called it, what do they call it? Mystic schools of some type
Mhm.
that were developing. And again, I went in it from the standpoint that I was learning how to calm my mind through meditation, not that I would end up getting spiritual messages. So that was the surprise for me. In that aspect, but not necessarily surprising in general because I am a Scorpio. And I was very much interested in astrology, and I came by that a few years prior. For the most things in life that galvanize you, it was a bad breakup relationship, and I said to myself, I'm not doing any more relationship things until I know what's going to happen because I read this one wrong. So help me out, stars. What's your sign all the way around? So
Uh-huh.
in that's when I learned that, okay, yeah, you have this sign and supposedly you have these interests and all. So again, I didn't really realize that all of this was happening. Then a few years later, I think I was one of my jobs, one of my coworkers, we talked about things metaphysical and here spiritual and here in healing. And she mentioned to me that she needed a guinea pig to do a past life regression. So
Oh.
I raised my little paw and yeah, I figured, what the heck is, we'll see what happens.
Mm.
Because I'm pretty much, I was like, oh, this would be interesting. Again, I did not think that this was going to work on me. I said, oh, this is a lot of, the mumbly part of my mind is going, this is a lot of hooey and, this stuff, this is the new age stuff. It's not just no way in the world. And lo and behold, after about the 20th time of counting backwards from 20, something in my being just shifted and clicked and everything went still. And I proceeded to tell one or two stories about previous lifetimes that one half of my brain was just shut off. It was like my body was completely still, but the other one was recalling some facts and places and people, some from this lifetime that were from there. And the quiet, locked inside of me, conscious side of my mind is screaming, you're making this up, and I was thinking, I'm obviously making this up, but I said, I'm not a creative person. I'm not a storyteller. And if I were to tell a story, it certainly wouldn't be this one. So it kind of made something of a believer out of me after that. And I was like, gee, this is really kind of interesting. So I just kind of stuck with it. And,
Wait a
in the
minute, let
back
me
of my
ask you.
mind,
Let me ask you, so in any of those lifetimes, were you a healer or a reader or anything like that?
oh, yeah.
You were. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
now oddly enough, on one of these, I was a healer, and I had just a vague remembrance of seeing a male's body that was somewhat bloated. It was obviously deceased. And I then saw my hands, and then my hands were gone. So the full story in my mind, going through that, is that I was a big muckety muck healer. And this was in, I think, ancient Egypt. It was definitely Egyptian times. And I had failed to save this politician,
Oh,
this rather, I don't know, high up ranking individual in the government. And as penance for that, I had my hands removed. And it's really odd because in this lifetime, I hear about Reiki and healing and the whole hand thing, but I'm not intuitively drawn to it. I think it's
wow.
kind of a hippy dippy thing. No offense to Reiki healers, but I have been told that, when it comes to massages or something like that, there's a lot of strength and energy in me. But now I know if I do have it, I can at least know now why I'm reluctant to even go to that side of the room, because the last memory that I have, or one of the memories I had, was that this cost me something.
Wow.
So that kind of put them together
Yeah.
that I wouldn't do that.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Wow.
Yes.
So
And
when,
then one of the other
uh,
that
go ahead.
um one of the other stories that I had, and this was so funny because at the time I was dating this guy, um, and this really kind of put a spin on things. It was again ancient times. I couldn't tell you the era, but I do remember being in a horse-drawn carriage around a road on something of a cliff, and he either pushed me out of this carriage, or I actually fell and died. And the upshot was, the backstory was that my father was what you would call in those days a magician of types, someone who was in the occult and to be a mystic, and he was a teacher of this. This guy was one of his prize students, and
Oh,
we were to be wed or engaged or sometime because there was the relationship. But I, as his daughter, was stronger in those arts than he was, because my father was teaching me, on the side. So this guy didn't necessarily like the fact that I was better than him at it, and with the
he was
jealousy
jealous.
ensued, and that's where the push came. So you can imagine the first time you have a past life regression and that story comes out, and you're just like, no, would you make a story up like that? You
Yep.
wouldn't. But
Yep.
that kicked off the ball rolling, and it made me think you have some history doing things that are mystical.
Yep. Yep.
They may have cost you, all of these things. So it was quite
Usually,
an
it
experience.
usually does cost us, somehow, some way. Uh,
Mhm.
maybe not so much today anymore, but in the 1980s, if you did this stuff, hippy dippy would be, nobody would really want you around because they think that you can read them. But I remember reading for you, I think maybe the first time, and I knew that you had somebody in your family who was able to do this kind of stuff. Because I'm like, you weren't
Oh,
just born,
okay.
you have a history of it. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
it's a lineage thing for sure. But I'm just becoming to know it. And like I said, this is very late in life for me. So it wasn't like I was around it or exposed to it. I've had to really dig down and ask questions and just try to, figure it all out. But I really feel like, I don't know how far back, if it's not this generation or a couple of generations beforehand, but I'm convinced that people do have these things that come down through the ages.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also came through my awareness later in life. And although, I played around with it a little when I was younger, but and you know what, it happens when it happens. You become aware of it when you do. And I kind of am grateful because I became aware of it at a time when I was so much more mature.
Yeah.
And so I could use it in a way that was ethical. I had the maturity to know I needed to be ethical. I need, to pay attention to the information I'm getting and how to translate that in a positive way for people, because not all messages are good news, right? Um,
Right.
so, and so so you came to Sacred Light Fellowship's channeling class, and you were reading with and then, but who were you practicing on before? Did you practice with your friends, or who did you?
Um, I actually did so much stuff in the development class, which I was there for a year, and then I stopped and didn't do it for quite quite a few years. And it just came to me, things are better when you have a group of people around you. And I could see that it was easier to do. So I have been looking for avenues and channels to get back into this. And I think when COVID happened, a lot of churches were doing stuff online.
Mhm.
So I had joined a few local churches that backed and believed in the mystical, and they held psychic fairs and psychic Zoom settings. And that was great practice. I had never uh, read for anybody, I think, since I left that development class. And I had one little experience where I went to a local Starbucks and approached a stranger. And after a year of having done nothing, just to see if I could still do it and just to like get the confidence up. And it was good. So I've been going that route. I've been doing some of the local festivals. And people don't realize how much of a fight sometimes it is with yourself.
Yeah.
Mystical arts and mystical works are really about your own self-development. You don't
Yeah.
really realize that, because it's not only are you dealing with spirit, but you're also dealing with your belief in yourself and how you interact with yourself and trust yourself.
Mhm.
And that's been the biggest step for me.
Yeah.
I think I had registered for a Karma Fest like maybe, I don't know, almost 10 years ago. And I went there. I didn't have a tablecloth. I didn't have a banner. I didn't have anything to identify who I was. I had nothing. And I spent the majority of the day going to everybody else, even though I had reserved this space. So, I mean, I'm talking about slow development.
That's okay though, you live and you learn. And our ego too, it's
Exactly.
not just the self-doubt, it's our ego. We have to, that's why we do the development work we do, because we have to get our egos out of the way, right? Because otherwise we'll be reading for people and we'll be reading our stuff. Our stuff will be what we give them rather than their stuff, because our ego.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have to realize it has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Just give what you get.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And that's why I like doing this on Facebook, because it's really good practice. And I give what I get. I don't know who these people are most of the time.
Right.
So, and by now I do have people who come back time and time again, but I still don't know them personally. I know them on Facebook. So it's always good. And plus, I've been doing this for 4 years on Facebook. So now I do know some of these people from doing this, and to watch them grow and develop is
Oh,
also really fun to do. So how about if we get started?
It
with-
was just, for reading,
Okay,
um. Sorry, just double checking.
okay. Kathy's checking now.
Louis asked for a reading.
Okay, so, because, Virginia can't hear, I have my cousin Kathy telling, me through FaceTime who's getting the next reading in that. So, Virginia, we're gonna do a reading for my friend Louis Formby.
I'm sorry.
L-O, and it's helpful if you can spell the name.
Yeah,
And
hold on a bit. And what
Okay.
else, Kathy?
General/family.
Okay, general. So it's Lewis.
Louis, okay.
Last name is Formby, Louis Formby. And he's asking for a general, but he wants to also to know about family.
Yes.
So if you want me to do tarot a little, I'll throw out some cards first, or would you like to give it a shot?
I'll let you go.
Okay, all
How
right.
it-
I'll
just
show
send me
you
the
how
book.
it's done here.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming by, Louis, and I really appreciate your support. And let's see, what do the guides want Louis to know about family? I have the King of Swords, Oh, the marriage card, the Four of Wands, and the Fool card. So, King of Swords. So I just learned this about the King of Swords. A friend of mine who's a tarot reader said when I put this card up, he said, well, wait a minute, is it about the king or is it about who the king's subjects are? And I said, I never thought about that. So the King of Swords is, I've heard one person describe him as like a general who, you know, he oversees the major operation. He knows the strategy. He's very intelligent. He's into the logistics. He goes right for the throat. He's not always a very happy man. And if you don't obey his orders, he'll get very upset and cut your head off. But he's also, you know, he's close to God. He's up high in the mountains. He's close to God. He's very intelligent. So we have the King of Swords here, and I'm going to say this is Lewis because Lewis is a manager of people. And so I'm going to say his subjects right in this reading are his family members because he helps to manage them. I know that. Then I have the Four of Wands, and they call this the marriage card because really what you're doing is, I see it as like you have a goal and you work hard and then you run your race and you meet your goal and everybody is at the end of the finish line waiting to celebrate you like there's no tomorrow because whatever it is you're doing is major and not something that most people would be able to do. Then I have the Fool card. So that's a new beginning. And I'm not surprised. It's a new beginning for Lewis. So maybe I'm going to say maybe, you know, a new work situation is going to come up for you. Maybe you've completed your mission where you are right now, and maybe you're going to be moving from your family. So that's what I'm going to say for Lewis Formby. And now I'm going to pass it to Virginia and see if she can add anything else to that.
Okay, immediately when I think of Lewis, I get, and I could, let me know if I'm right on this, but I feel like he's a hard charging guy, the kind of person that's very in your face, but not aggressively so, but he's not shy about expressing his opinion, a cigar chomping, so to speak. And I feel like the family member, I feel like he's in the midst of trying to convince a child or a sibling or a young man that this is the way things are, this is what you need to do. You know, I mean, he's taking the parental aim at this person and doing his best to give it advice. But it's, as you know, he's with kids in general, so oftentimes it's not well received. So that's why he's just being rather insistent about it. But underneath, he's very sincere in his efforts in trying to get this point across and try to explain to him. And it's a beautiful thing because I feel like it's not overbearing or this is my opinion or do this or, you know, my way or the highway type of thing. It is a sincere interest in expressing how he feels about the decisions that this child is going to make. And it's from the heart, but it's direct and it's in your face. You know, almost finger pointing and cigar waving or whatever, but not in a mean way.
Right. I'm going to tell you, you're absolute. That's Lewis.
Ah, it is. Okay.
You know, that's why he's the King of Swords, you know? He's
Ah,
a leader and he knows because he's been there, done that. He knows. And he's you know, he's the wise one. And you know, this Fool card could also be, and so this could be about someone who needs to make a decision about a goal, right? Finishing school or getting married or something like that. And then they make up their mind and they start off on this new journey. That's what this could be about. So that was excellent, Virginia. You got Lewis down.
oh,
Really.
okay.
Yep. Good job.
Right.
What do you think about that, Lewis? You'll let us know. Cuz are you there?
I'm here. I have a lag, so
Oh, that's right. There's a lag. So we speak, but they don't hear us for 10 or 20 seconds or something.
Okay. Okay.
said
Yeah.
very so.
Very much so. Yep. Yep.
Ah,
Ah,
yes.
darn, girl. Yay.
Good job.
Ah,
Good job. All right.
We have another one, Donald Lee, looks for one card,
Okay.
tarot card,
Uh-huh.
with, in a general reading.
Okay, Donnelly. So Donnelly is someone I know from New Mexico. And
Cool.
she just wants she's in my tarot group, as a matter of fact, and she just wants a quickie reading. And if you get anything on Virginia on Donnelly and want to add, her last name is Crow, Crowe, Donnelly Crow. And I'm just gonna pull a card for her.
mm, I didn't put this type of-
Oh, and I get the Three of Pentacles. That is a collaborative effort. And it's something somewhat creative, and typically you are the one who you're the artisan. So let's say this guy here is he's the stone smith. He's carving the stone for the church, and these people are the church people who have hired him. So this would be you. So without you, this wouldn't even be happening. So I'm going to say you're the leader of whatever the situation is. And it's a beautiful collaborative effort. You get along well, you respect each other. And that's the relationship dynamics. What do you got? Anything?
Yes, when I think of Donnelly, I think that Donnelly loves this type of stuff. She loves tarot. She loves the thrill of turning the card over and making the mental guess beforehand. And she is kind of what I want to call it, impresario of the mystic arts. It's her job in life, she feels, to get out there and get the word out about these workings that we do. And she's always delighted to find something to say, come here, look at this reader, look at that reader. So she's just like a mystical cheerleader for all of this. And I keep when I see a picture of her, and this is one thing that I get, is that people appear to me as characters from popular TV shows and movies that I grew up with.
Mhm.
So when I see her, I keep getting George Costanza's mother from Seinfeld. That she's just someone who's just delightfully happy about things. And when we were talking about Lewis, for some reason I got the cigar chomping. I kept seeing Al Lewis from Herman Munster for some reason. So I don't, and I'm not necessarily saying that the
These are your
physical
symbols.
appearance, but maybe the character and the personality.
Right.
So I keep getting George Costanza's mother, but just someone who's just very sweet and endearing and very much in love with the mystical world. And she can just take one card and build on it.
Mhm.
Just building castles in the sky type of thing. But this absolutely thrills her. And I feel like she's collaborating with people in her area to say, come on, guys. It's like those old 40s musicals where it's like, come on, gang, let's get together and put on a show.
Yep. Yep.
She has people that she wants to get together, and she wants to have a brigade of people who do the mystical arts that she can send them out and give them marching orders and spread the word about this, because in her being, she knows that it really works. She's something of a mentalist, when it comes to like putting the card on your forehead and guessing. And she's always hoping that she's right, because I see these cross fingers.
Yes, you know what? I gotta tell you, you're really, really like right on, because actually Donnelly is an astrologer. And she loves to learn about everything in the mystical arts. She does love to learn. She's very bright. She's very bright and detail oriented. That could be because she's a Scorpio. She very bright, and also has very good ideas in the group setting. Yeah, in a group setting.
Okay.
I say you are right on. What do you think about that, Donnelly? I think that's awesome. Because we're done with this one.
I don't have someone else, but I see we have more people in the room.
Okay, anybody want a reading, just let us know. Let's see, who do we have? Okay, anybody want a reading, just let us know. Let's see, who do we have? Yeah, Donnelly said thank you. Yeah, Donnelly said thank you. Thank you to both of you, she says, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Donnelly said thank you. Thank you to both of you, she says, yeah. Okay. Thank you to both of you, she says, yeah. All right, we do have people in the room, but nobody yet asking for, let me turn this down. All right, we have people in the room, but nobody yet who wants a reading. So tell me more about your business now. So are you going to be, so you have a website. Do you plan on doing any Instagram or YouTube or anything like that? Is that in your future, you think? Are you muted? I'm sorry.
The easiest way possible, because all these different platforms nowadays, I want to make it as easy on myself as possible. So I've been toying with the idea of maybe doing something midweek or maybe once a week on Saturday. Just going to YouTube Live, or perhaps just having a Zoom session and just having people just drop in if they want to have some mediumship readings or just personal counseling. The way that I do my readings is that, I focus on the person, and it's always helpful to have a name or to actually be the person, and then I'll close my eyes, because I have a tendency to if I get and give the reading that I'm looking at you, I'm constantly asking, does this mean anything to you? Then of course the nerves set in, because if you don't give me any feedback, then I think that I'm just babbling to myself. So I prefer to keep my eyes closed, to keep myself on point. And also too, because when you do readings, people tend to get a little nervous if you get a hit, and they feel very vulnerable and exposed. And I understand that. So taking the pressure off of them by looking at them, it kind of helps in a way. So I will talk about you and how you operate and move in the world. And usually from that point, there'll be somebody who is very, I don't know, who's very influential in your life, who you've been close to, and they'll come out in the story. So I tune into your energy first, so that you know that I do have you. And then we ask for those moments in your life that are high points, and where you are in life at this point. What question you're wrestling with, or should you go this way or that way, and why.
Now,
So-
let me ask you a question. Do you notice when you're reading for people, whether it's online or in person, do you feel the energetic connection when you hook in?
I mean, the best way that I can put it is I imagine myself sitting where you are. And then all of that is like, I'm making the movements of what you would do, what interests you, what's important to you. And that's the connection that I have. It's just it's a lot of imagination work. It's me seeing you, just something to focus on. That's why it's always important. Like I said, if I can just see your face, you don't have to have the camera on all the time, but if you can just let me see your face. And then as you can see, I just had the name and it was accurate. So that's very surprising to me too. But the more that I do this, the more that I see that it really is about energy. And tuning to that. And I remember the first time that I had to do a phone reading, I think I'd asked one of the people from my original development groups if they would give me a testimonial. And she said, well, I have to text you and see. And I was like, what? I was so offended. I was like, yeah, I was in the group for a year. Just, you can't remember what I said. So I didn't have Zoom then. I didn't even have Zoom then. I think I had to call her on the phone. I do it over the phone, and I was terrified, because it was the first time I've done something over the phone, as opposed to having someone in the same room with me.
Yeah.
But it works. So, these are the little steps that we take where, it makes sense, but until you actually do it, you don't really fully have confidence in it.
Right. It takes time.
I do it. Yeah, that's how I do it.
What I notice is it's as though the information just sort of drops into my head. That's the best way I can. It's like all of a sudden it just drops in, and at first I thought it was my imagination, like you were talking about. Oh, what's the story in my head, or why do I hear this song, or why am I thinking about the mountains, or why, and well, that's because it's somebody's story. That's somebody's story, and that's why I'm thinking that. Yeah, I thought it was all my imagination, and found out it was not, which is really cool. Really cool. Oh, we have a bunch of, we do have some people on. Let's see who. I know it's you and me and Kathy. No, that, I don't know. I don't think she counts. Leanne. Oh, hello, Leanne. Leanne, Donnelly. Donnelly left, I think, though. Lewis. Melanie.
I don't see them all yet. I see Leanne.
I'm just scrolling through the chat to see Ron, Margie Armijo. I remember Margie. I think Margie was came for a reading last time. Or I don't know that she got a reading, but she was here. Sometimes people just like to check it out, see
Yeah,
what's happening.
that's one
So-
of the surprising things that I've learned is that a lot of people view these things as a spectator sport or
Oh,
a
Leanne,
spectator activity. And I never
Leanne,
knew that.
we have somebody here from the UK, actually.
Oh, nice.
Leanne Stevie is Hall McAvoy is from England. So awesome. Hello, Leanne. Who else? That's cool. I had somebody come on. Oh, I did do a reading for Margie. Okay. I had somebody from Portugal. I've had people from Japan, Africa,
Wow.
Australia. Yeah, the people come in from all over the place. So, I guess even though, I guess if you can't sleep, you go on Facebook and see what's happening on Facebook, right? So, but it's really, that's the great thing. But this guy came from Portugal, and my niece was doing the chat room moderation for me, and she knows Portuguese fluently. So she was able to speak to him. So that was really cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that was really cool. So, yeah, so when I started working at this professionally, I was really frightened. I remember, yes, insomnia, she says. I was so frightened. I remember the first time I did this, I was shaking in my shoes, and I was using tarot cards that weren't even regular tarot cards. So I had to read from the book, so here I am reading from the book, and I'm looking back, but you know what? People enjoyed it. It was COVID time. People were like enjoying it. So the next time I didn't do it that way. I used regular tarot cards, and the more I did it, the more relaxed I became. And it's just incredible how I remember when the self-doubt went away. It was like, I think it was in 2023. At some point, I just said, you know what? I'm not even going to go there anymore, because psychics are right. You're a good psychic if you're right 65% of the time. Well, I'm right more than that. And so even if I am 65% of the time right, that's good. So I'm just not going to worry about doubting myself anymore. And what's that, Kath?
Wahoo.
Wahoo. And also, tarot cards are a tool. They just kind of open me up. And so to do psychic readings, that was another threshold that I had to go over, because I wasn't used to doing them without my tools. So that is always interesting to me, how that information just drops down in there.
And it's
Yep.
just a line, just a word, just a phrase, just a feeling. And it's sometimes it's fleeting. But the pictures can bring a whole story now. It gets a lot more fluid, and there's more lines to that paragraph instead of seeing it. And that's what makes it really fun. When I was a child, I used to love puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. And this is almost just another version of this, an adult version. Seeing if I put the pieces together of who I'm reading for,
Exactly.
I can accurately get them and then get a message, or spirit can help me get that message
Mhm.
and be accurate about it and just give the message. And I don't think people realize how much interpretation goes into
Yes, there's a lot going on between the message and what comes out of your mouth.
it.
It's
Yeah,
really quick. How about mediumship? You do mediumship as well.
yes, I do.
Yeah, me too.
And this is something that's just odd because some people, now I feel like I'm more of a psychic, but people say, no, you're more of a medium. So
You probably do both equally well, you know?
I knew I was having this event this evening, so I had a chiropractor appointment. And I remember a long time ago, I gave him my card, and of course, I take your card and I go like this, you know, over their shoulder. But this
Wow.
time around, I asked him, and this is how I keep myself in tune if I'm feeling really antsy. I'll ask someone, just give me the name of someone living or deceased, and let me tell you about them. And
Hmm.
so he gave me the name of someone, and it was his father. At the time, I didn't know it, but I got it, and I was
Cool.
so pleased. So it's just little things like that because you need to keep your confidence up and really rely on the feedback that you get back from people because I don't know if I'm right because again, it's just a word, a sentence, a paragraph out of your life. But you will know if it means something to you. So let me
Right.
know how
Yeah,
close.
right. You know, like if I'm doing mediumship and somebody hold on a minute. I'm a psychic from Florida. If you need it. Oh, thank you, dear. And for example, if somebody shows me somebody from the other side, I say, tell me about yourself, and they show me an apple. Well, I'm from New York, which is the Big Apple. But the
Oh,
person sitting for me may say, my mother was a teacher, right? There's
mhm.
my mother was a teacher, but for me, that means Big Apple, New York.
Oh
So I
yeah.
say, was your mom from New York? Because she's showing me an apple like the big, and she goes, no, she wasn't, but she was a teacher. And I'm like, oh, okay. I have to adjust the story a little, right? We have our own symbols, and sometimes we're not right on the mark. But that's the beautiful thing about mediumship is that it involves the deceased person, the medium, and the person sitting there because you can't, you need the person to say, yes, that's accurate, or help you determine what the symbol means that the person's showing you. Um,
And
you
to
know, it's,
go
yeah,
back to the drawing board and ask again.
yep.
One of my teachers or coaches one time used to have the exercise where she would give you the name of somebody living and deceased, and you had to answer those 5 general questions about who they were, how old did they die, what did they die of, what were their family like, just 5 general questions. And I remember getting, and I had to think to myself, I'm seeing, the medication bottles that are orange,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm seeing all these pills dumped out of it. And I'm thinking, oh no, don't tell me is it a suicide or something? And it's like, no, they cleaned it up. And I'm clearly seeing the person taking one pill at a time, just
Okay.
one. So it turned out that this person, and I'm seeing one pill at a time, this person had an addiction to speed at the time of their death that probably contributed to it. But
Oh,
yes, if you're looking at it for the first time, it's like, okay, how do I interpret this? A
right.
bunch of pills. That doesn't mean anything. But them taking it and the fact that it was in a medication bottle meant that it was medically prescribed as opposed to something that was recreational. So it's
Right.
those little things that we have to think about and filter through and ask and go back and say, okay. And like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that they uh, distinctly took one at a time, that to me meant that it was prescribed because it
Right.
was dosed out.
Right. And plus, yeah, it wasn't like they swallowed the whole bottle and committed suicide. Mhm.
Right. So it's really, really fascinating. And it was at that point, I remember a couple of years ago, um, when I was reading a classmate and it finally dawned on me and really hit me. Because I think I was thinking to myself that I must be doing something that's, I don't know, a mentalist activity. And it's like, no, someone is talking or communicating to you. And this particular time, it was someone who's, I kept seeing like a construction boot, the yellow ones with a heavy construction, and a piece of heavy construction equipment with the gear shift. So I'm thinking that it's like a backhoe or a bulldozer or something because it's gearing heavy. Asking again. This bulldozer is running into a wall. I'm like, why would you run into a wall? See it again, and then it runs over a cliff. And I'm just thinking, like, why would you just drive a piece of machinery off of a cliff? Well, it turned out that the woman's husband and her husband's friend, they were both truckers. So hence the heavy gear shift.
Okay.
And they each ended up driving off of a cliff at one point, and one person was killed. So you
Oh
can
my,
see how I had to, or had been in some type of an accident where they went off the road in the truck.
right. I can imagine them going off a road and into, yeah, off
Exactly.
into a
So, but
road.
I had to distill that. And, once I told my side of the story and they said, oh yeah, we both try to meet in the middle, but you
Right.
can where you start at and what you see. And I've got to try to figure out, what exactly does it mean? I would never
Right.
thought
I always tell the person what I'm getting and they can tell me, and then
exactly.
yeah, and then we can move forward. Yeah. How's it going, Kathy? Anybody,
I don't have someone asking for one except for me. I'm asking.
my cousin wants a reading, Kathy Irwin.
Okay, Kathy Irwin. Is that Kathy with a K or C?
It's Cathy.
Yeah, hey, thanks for asking.
And Irwin is ER or IR?
I'm sorry, what? IRWIN, Irwin. Mhm. I'm gonna pull you some cards, Kath. See what we get for Kathy. See. Kathy has the nightmare card. That means worry. It's worry. Everybody has worry, right? Anxiety. Oh my God, how am I gonna? I have to get my crown fixed. Oh my God, where am I gonna get the money? That's the kind of stuff that keeps us up at night. She's worried about that kind of stuff, but she's got the Eight of Pentacles, which is she's working hard at something she really loves to do. And because she really loves to do it, she does it well. So she's perfecting her skill in a certain area. And then we have the meditation card. Actually, it's kind of the card of, in order to do this good work, we need, it's creative. No matter what work we do, it's creative in some way. And so in order to be creative, we need to take time out and focus and go within, because that's where our creativity comes from. And we need time to think about it and visualize it. And so that's really what this means. So I'm going to say, Kathy, something's on your mind, right? There's something on your mind that may be keeping you up at night, or that you have on your mind during the day. You're also, working at something you really love to develop. And, you do spend part of your day sort of in like daydream, I want to say, which is creative dreaming, I think. So that's what I have for Kathy.
Okay. When I look at Kathy, I see someone who is intrinsically very cheerful party. Now, the raven may be sitting on your shoulder, but you're like, yeah, okay, I see you. And you go on about your day. That's how much of a balance you have. You're not one to walk around with a cloud underneath you, but you are aware that it's there. But your intent is to focus on things that are good, wonderful, and kind. And you make a point of that. And you're also, one of your strengths and talents is showcasing, packaging people. And this is why I feel like you constantly observe people to see how it's done. How can I fix this? How can I mold this? How can I put this better? It's important. Yeah, it's like you see the world as a TV set. Everything is what do they call it, a mock-up for a stage, or the pieces that are there. That's how you view life, and that's how you operate. That's the element that you operate best in, is setting that stage piece, designing people, places, and things so that they're best showcased for people. And that
Just-
brings you a great deal of
I just
joy.
want you to know she's saying true, true, true. Just want you to know.
Right, that's,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I get for you. That's how one of your great strengths and one of your great purposes is doing that. Because you feel like life is truly a stage, and you take your seat in that first row and you watch it. And you want people to be at their best. You really, really want people to be at their best, and you want to
Laughing.
enjoy the show.
She's laughing. She says, oh, amazing. Yep, yep.
Ah, yay! Yay,
Yep,
spirit.
really good, really good.
Thank you. Oh, Vibha's here. Hello.
Hi, Viva. And
Thank you both. Thank you both.
I think that Leanne said she wants a card, so let's pull a card for Leanne. I'll just do a card for her because it's one card free, so we'll do her quick down and dirty for Leanne. Do you want to, how about you go first with Leanne? Her name is Leanne, Leanne.
Mhm.
Stevie, Stevie, Hall, like a hall, McAvoy, McAvoy. Leanne, Stevie, Hall, McAvoy. UK. She's from the UK.
Leanne has very much a posture of prove it to me type of person. And she has exceptionally high standards on what she wants in a reader. So it's not a willy-nilly with her, or I think, or I feel. It's like what you say has to be exact and right on. And only then. She's very much a fan of this type of platform and activity. So I don't want to say confrontational is the word as so much as direct. She's the type of person that's like me. If she asks a question, she wants an answer. No equivocating, no qualifying. It's just like, here, talk to me. Very much like that. When she's serious, she's very serious. And she is very much a fan of the occult. She spent a great deal of time observing and watching.
Yep.
And that's why she's able to cut through the layers of what I want to say is a mental chit chat or a psychic chit chat.
Let me
She's
tell
so
you,
aware.
she was saying earlier that her mom, her stepmom was gifted. She passed, but she was very gifted as in Reiki and psychic. She taught her, and I guess her siblings had to open their third eye.
Okay.
So that's very cool. All right, let me pull a card for her. I have. That's interesting. I have the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles is about a guy who is so let's say he's a gardener, right? Because he's in the garden there,
Mhm.
looking at his wonderful work. I mean, that bush is producing fruit, right? Big time. And he's saying, I'm working for somebody else. This is not my farm. I should have my own farm and do my own work so that I get the money. I'm not really getting paid a lot for this. I'm not being paid for my labor. So you're maybe thinking about doing something, maybe becoming an entrepreneur or
You are so right.
oh, that she says you are so right. You are so right. So maybe, but I'm getting something else, not just an entrepreneur. Because I think this is something you had been doing as a hobby, but now it could be something serious, like maybe you like to write, but now you see that it's time to do a book, that you have the material, you realize to do a book, and that you're thinking, you know what, look at all these chapters. I put together all these chapters and I didn't realize that they could go together and be a really good book. It could be something like that. That's what I'm getting. So there you go. That's awesome. She says, yes. Yes, I have said this to my partner so many times. He is scared. Oh, what you're saying, what you were saying. I've said this to my partner so many times. He is scared. So I guess that when you're asking a question, you want an answer, and that scares her partner.
Very direct.
That, yep, very direct. Yep,
Very
very
direct.
good. That was cool. And I kind of like the message I got with this Seven of Pentacles. That was a nice little hit. Hi, Candy. How you doing, Candace? Would you like a card and a quick little psychic reading?
Is that our Candace?
Yes, it is.
Hi.
Candace is one of Candace is someone who I met on Facebook here by doing these lives. And so actually she's been in, I think she did a mediumship circle. She was part of a she had a reading done at a mediumship circle that I hosted in. Oh no, that would hurt too many people. I'm not sure what would hurt too many people, but maybe writing a book. I don't know. All right, so Candace, I'm going to let you do Candace's psychic reading. Her name is Candace Victorine, Candace, Victorine, Victorine, Sierra, Sierra, like the Sierra Madre. Candace Victorine Sierra.
Candace has such a sweet disposition and treads very softly when it comes to dealing with other people. But dear, you have such a she herself is psychic and has a very intuitive bent, but you're very quiet about it. It's almost like you don't have quite as much confidence about it. And your sweet disposition and personality is what kind of keeps it holding back. It's like you don't go out and wave a flag with it, but you feel it. And your approach is, it's like, but you also realize at the same time that it's a gift and it's yours to share with other people. So the way that you like to do it is, it's almost like whispering to them what they need to hear. Remember the movie series, The Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
and the Elven princess, who was Steven Tyler's daughter, when she's riding on the white horse and she's whispering in his ear. That's kind of like you. That's your approach to how you deal with your psychic gift. It's like you're very calm. You're like the wind that rustles around someone when you want to tell them what they need to hear. It's not very much an in your face type of approach. It's gently whispering, gently persuading, and that matches your personality as someone's just being very endearing. You're not there to browbeat them or be the bull in the china shop. You're there to gently tap them on the shoulder and to breathe that message into them. And that's how you approach it. But you are studying now more in your life. You're looking to branch out in different ways and to really respect and honor your gift, as well as find different avenues to express it. So
Let me just tell you, you are right on. You are right on. And she's going to say that. I'm sure she's going to say that. Yep. I have. Isn't that cool, Kathy?
Leanne made a comment.
I see. Yeah. She thought the card was about her partner. I think. Yeah. It's okay. I have for Candace, I have the Two of Cups, which this is my lover's card in the tarot, but this is the kind of, well, it could be a partnership of any kind, but I'm going to say love because usually that's how it is. It's a partner who is lifelong, like somebody you meet and this is it. This is it. It's the real deal. You see each other for who you actually are, not who you want the other to be. And you can put yourself in each other's shoes so you can see from their perspective. It's a nice relationship. If it's not a love relationship, I'm going to say a good friend. maybe a relationship like my cousin Kathy and I have, where, we're kind of like soul sisters, we're really close. It could be and so it's nice to have that relationship because it's lifelong, it's there, we have our support. So Candace says, wow. Candace says, wow, about your reading. Yeah, you got her.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, good. Okay.
Got
Yeah,
her.
very softly spoken, very softly gentle.
Yeah, so I wonder, Candace, if there's a new relationship or maybe a relationship that that you really recognize is really such a great support to you. And you're glad that you have this relationship. So I'm wondering about that. Oh, there's Ellen. Let's give Ellen a card. Oh, here you go. You can do a psychic reading for Ellen Whitco. ELL. What?
I have
What?
else too.
What, Kath?
I have someone else who's waiting.
Okay, is she paid?
No.
Okay, who is it?
Anne
Oh, Anna
and Iva.
and Iva.
Could
Okay.
be Eva.
Okay, Ann Iva, Ann IVA wants to know if we see a romance with the man Jay this year. I'm gonna let you answer that.
Does Jay move around a lot? Does Jay move? Is he moving to the West Coast or the East Coast? Is there any possibility of him making a location change of any type?
Okay, it'll take a minute for us to find out, but
Yeah.
mhm.
This is an interesting thing. Oh, I don't have my bracelets with me. When I do relationship readings, I will literally have like a brace. I use them as a bracelets, and they're like this. So if they come together like that, you all are yoked. If they're like about an inch apart, you all are coming together. If one is stable and one is walking away, which is what I'm seeing with Anne, I'm thinking that it's the him. I think she's the stable one, and he's moving toward the west. In my mind, this is a location thing because I see it like a map.
Okay,
Um,
she says, no, he doesn't move. He has a business here, but he could be moving away in another way, right? Because her
Right.
question is,
Right,
right,
because I feel like
do you see a romance with him? And apparently you see him moving away,
away, very stable.
physically, not physically moving to the West Coast, but maybe, moving.
Moving away.
My ex moves to. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is Jay. Because and she says her ex moves to Michigan a lot, but this is West Coast, not Midwest.
It's going in the western direction.
It's further west. So we're gonna say that he is going to move away rather than a romance occurring.
It has nothing to do with her. It has something to do with it's something that's pulling him in that direction. Like it's an inner call. Like he said to yourself, okay, I want to see the Pacific Ocean before I, pass on or something like that. Or I always wanted to, stand in the water or something. Something like that.
Because the card I got for him is Judgment, and that's an inner call.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Judgment card is an inner call. So it's not because of you, and it's because he has an inner call.
Yeah.
He has something he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. So now, oh, you are in California. Oh, you are in California. That's interesting. She's in California. So maybe, that's possible. You got that he's moving to California, but maybe,
Yeah.
so that's okay. That's
Mhm.
okay. That happens. So in any event, I don't, I think it's cool that you got California.
Mhm.
What I think is correct is that he is moving away because he does have an inner call. Because
Mm.
my card confirmed that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Siren song.
all right, so that's what we're gonna say, Anne. And now, let's do a reading for Ellen Whitco, and it's ELLEN WITKO.
With
You're welcome, Ann.
I feel like Ellen spends a great deal of time in meditation and truly believes being led by spirit in an intuitive way. She trusts that more than anything. She likes to be led by her inner sight than by her outer sight, and is quite very adept at it. And it's almost like someone who has lost their sight, but they make up for it in their other senses. And she likes to use that when it comes to helping people. Her intuitive radar are always up. And that's the way that she counsels people too, in a way so that people don't know it. It's almost like appearing sleepy, but being totally awake.
Mhm.
And she has that kind of, very much that very low key personality. And Bruce is not the word I want to use, but it's an affectation in order to make the other person feel a little more safe and secure.
Right.
Because if they were to know how wide open she would be, they would probably be astonished. And sometimes it's better to mask yourself that way, because she is 100% working on her. I would say between 90 and 95%, she uses her intuitive faculties more than anything. And almost like she's not there. So she's like one of those friends who's there, but you really don't know her. It reminds me of a ghost almost, because they're there, but they're not really there.
Mhm.
But she's extremely effective that way, because she's unnoticed. She's unnoticed, but she sees everything. Really nice.
Let
And
me
she
tell you,
doesn't never do anything to harm anybody or to misinfluence them with her abilities. It's all about love and light with her,
Mhm.
and that gentle touch. But she appears when they need it. I mean, her personality, which is quite charming, but she doesn't want it to get in the way of the intuitive read. So, but when she needs to come out and be herself, it's it reminds me of those angels that, when they say, "Don't fear me, I'm here," because she's
Mhm.
so powerful at it. That makes sense. Okay, that's
Let me tell you that Ellen is my sister and she's a minister.
ah.
Yep. So I'm going to say that everything you said is very correct. She would never admit to that if I said that to her, though. She would never admit to that. Yep. And it's interesting because the card I get for Ellen is the Six of Pentacles, which is the card of give and take, which is a spiritual law, right? Give and take. Because we give, we tithe. Ellen says, thank you, Virginia. We tithe because we know we could be on the receiving end of this one day. We may need that help. So it's a spiritual principle that we do this. And so that matches what Ellen, yep. Very good. Very awesome, Virginia. I'm cracking up when you started because I'm like, Ellen would never admit to this to anybody.
Oh yeah, very much a give and take. It's like I'm here,
Yes.
but
She's pretty effective in her role, I have to say. So very good. Very good. Spot on, Virginia. I love it. So anybody else, Kath?
um,
No, not so far.
All right. Well, it's about 9:30. If nobody else would like a reading, we can wrap it up for tonight. And I have the feeling that Virginia may be doing a YouTube live within a couple of months. And
yeah,
when she does that, I'll let you all know that I'll let you all know of her page, and we can all go support her there. So thank you, Virginia. This has been I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed
fun.
being.
Yeah, I enjoyed the practice, and I enjoy more so helping people and adding to their journey and helping them to see who they are and how they're made, and
Mhm.
and they're wired for a particular purpose.
It's been great. Thank you, everybody on
And
Facebook.
invite me back anytime.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you just say?
I just say invite me back anytime.
I
I'm gonna
will.
figure
I'd
out
be
how to.
happy to. That was great. Let's see, we're finishing up. Anybody else? Let's see. That's it. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we
Thank
will
you.
see you again
And
soon. All
The
right.
divagov@gmail.com.
There you go. Kathy put it in the chat so everybody can have it. And when this is posted on Facebook, all the chat information will still be there. So they'll be able to contact you. All right. Good night, everybody. Be well.